Good afternoon. My name is Leanne Hollingsworth, the mother of 2 victims. I want to start by thanking everyone involved in this case by bringing justice for us as victims. I want to thank all of the officers, first responders that helped us that day, especially the amazing Waukesha County Sheriff who was willing to transport me and my daughter to the hospital so quickly. If it wasn't for you, I'm not sure she'd be here today. Thank you to all of the staff at Children's Hospital for the amazing care for my daughter. And thank you to the Waukesha community. Thank you to the Good Samaritans who stayed with my daughter until I arrived, covered her with blankets to keep her warm, tried to comfort her. To all of you, I'm forever grateful. November 21st, 2021 is a day that will forever be etched in our minds and hearts as one of the worst days of our lives. On this day, you, Darrell Brooks, made the conscious decision to drive through the Waukesha Christmas Parade and destroy the sense of security and safety of my family and thousands of others. My 2 daughters were doing what they love most, dancing in the parade with their teammates, when you destroyed that fun. My oldest daughter watched as her teammates went flying through the air, one of which was her sister. She had to make the frantic call to me to tell me that her sister was injured. Not only that, but because you, Darrell Brooks, continued driving and didn't stop, no one knew if the danger was gone or if they were still at risk. I remember the terrified phone call from a couple of blocks away, telling me to get inside the nearest building to stay safe. As a mother, I knew in that moment I couldn't leave my kids alone, so I had to make the choice to risk my own safety, run all the way down Main Street to get to them. I myself had to see the carnage of what you, Darrell Brooks, did to so many people. Those images will never leave me and will haunt me for the rest of my life. That view can only be described as that of a war scene, one which you knowingly caused. As we made our way down Main Street, I had no idea what to expect when I found my younger daughter. Mr. Brooks, you mentioned your young daughter during the trial. I want you to picture your daughter right now, your 8-year-old daughter, and I want you to imagine the fear and anger that you'd feel if a monster drove over your daughter and many others. I want you to picture finding your own daughter when I describe what I found. When I finally found our group, I had to run from person to person, lying on the ground to find my daughter. And when I finally did, she was unresponsive, couldn't open her eyes, was missing her white Christmas hat and headband and her shoe. Her sock was shredded with road rash on her foot. Her left leg was bent horribly in a way a leg shouldn't bend. Her head was immediately swelling in addition to the road rash across her face and the rest of her body and the blood coming from her mouth. It was over the next few days we learned of the extent of all of her injuries. Severe bleeding of the brain, which required emergency surgery, severe traumatic brain injury, multiple skull fractures, which required emergency surgery to repair, a severely broken femur, which required 2 surgeries to repair, a pelvic bone fracture, and I'm sure many others that I missed in the hundreds of pages of reports from her injuries and weeks-long hospital stay. While my husband and I stayed in the hospital with our youngest daughter, unsure of whether she would live to see the next day, my family stepped up to take care of our older daughter and help her try to feel safe after the trauma that you had just inflicted. I cannot begin to expect a narcissist like you to understand what it's like to sit in the ICU staring at your daughter with tubes and wires from every part of her body trying to keep her alive, watching every monitor and test result, hoping that things are going the right direction, not knowing if your daughter is going to wake up the same bright, bubbly girl she was before a monster plowed through at her Christmas parade. When she did wake up, the real struggle began. Our then 9-year-old daughter had to learn to eat, talk, move, and walk again. She had to use a wheelchair and walker for months, even as she returned to school. Instead of playing in the snow with her friends at recess, she sat in a wheelchair. She couldn't dance. She couldn't run around playing with her friends. Even today, she deals with the effects of this day. Her leg still hurts. She struggles with the neurological effects of her injuries, is on seizure medication, and worries about every little symptom for fear it is something bigger related to her injuries. Your own mother and grandmother, Darrell Brooks, have claimed your supposed mental health issues are to blame, but you, Darrell Brooks, were found to be completely competent and fully aware of exactly what you were doing. All you had to do was hit the brakes instead of the gas pedal. Yet, like the narcissist you are, you claimed you honked the horn, but in your eyes, somehow it was their fault. They didn't get out of the way. You were so fully aware of your wrongfulness of your actions that you ran from the vehicle, tried to change your appearance, and lied in an attempt to get away from the scene. You knew exactly what you were doing. Darrell Brooks, you have destroyed our sense of safety and security in our own community. You are the reason my kids are afraid to cross the street. You are the reason my kids don't sleep at night. You are the reason we may never enjoy a parade again. You are the reason my daughters are afraid of the dark. You are the reason my daughters don't feel safe without their parents around. You are the reason we visit doctors constantly, and you are the reason their lives will never be the same again. You have taken something from them that cannot be regained, and for that I hope you rot in hell.